Close to a week, and now we unravel for you the shocking series of events that will lay bare what happened in Khargone on Ram Navami. 5 pieces of video evidence that tell you how riots are planned, provoked and executed, and how the narrative constructed about riots being provoked by the Hindu procession is one-sided at best and untrue at its worst. The first narrative being busted today by us is this video. The narrative that you had heard so far is that people went past a mosque and provoked those inside. Look at this image that shows you clearly how a house where there is no provocation seen was pelted with stones by a mob, attacked with people carrying wooden staffs. What was the provocation of the people sitting inside? Did they pass any mosque? Did they raise any slogans? Did they provoke anyone? People sitting inside their houses are being pelted and attacked for what fault of theirs? That is video number 1. You can see a smoke bomb go off. You can see stone pelting that is taking place. And now we get to you video number 2. And this one is particularly chilling. I want you to pay close attention to that man in white you see on your screens right now. Remember, you were told this is Hindu aggression, a sadistic victimization of unarmed people. Well, here you have a writer who is not just pelting stones, but actually when you take a close look at that man in white, there he is brandishing a sword. If this was a spontaneous reaction to provocation, and we've said this again and again. Yesterday we showed you that shots were fired. Today we ask you, where have these swords come from? Now take a look at the third video. There were open threats that were issued in this video, which we have actually muted because they are extremely problematic. But that is not all. In this video, you can see clearly how arson was done. What looks like crude bombs, Molotov cocktails, which then go off, and you see that flash, an explosion where houses are being attacked. This time, not with stones, not with swords, but with actual crude bombs. And finally, we show you a procession gathered in an open area going about their business. You see the people there with their saffron flags, and suddenly there is a flurry of activity because this is where the stone pelting started. This is the exact point where the stone pelting started. In fact, Times Now's Govind Gujar actually went to the exact spot to tell you what really was going on that day in the vicinity of a mosque. Do you see a sign of provocation there? Let's get you that report from Govind, from the exact spot from where this video that you're seeing right now, what happened on Ram Navami.
10 तारीख को शाम को जब रामनवमी का जो जुलूस निकल रहा था, उसके बाद कैसे हिंसा भड़क गई, इसकी सच्चाई अब निकलकर सामने आ रही है। तमाम सोशल मीडिया पर वीडियो वायरल हो रहे हैं, लेकिन पहला हिंसा का पत्थर कहां से आया वो हम आपको दिखा देते हैं। ये तालाब चौक का जो वीडियो है, आप अगर देख पा रहे हैं, थोड़ा यहां देखने की कोशिश करें कि ये जो भीड़ है सारी, इस भीड़ को सबसे पहले जो डिस्पर्स हुई, एकदम देखिए ये भगदड़ मची है, एकदम कहीं से पत्थर आए हैं और इस तरह से इस भीड़ पर पथराव हुआ। यानी ये जो प्रोसेसन निकल रहा था रामनवमी का, उस दौरान यहाँ इसी चौक पर पत्थर आए। कैसे आए, कहां से आए, वो भी हम आपको अभी दिखाएंगे, लेकिन इस वीडियो को देख लीजिए आप। अब इस वीडियो की सच्चाई हम आपको दिखाने के बाद उसी जगह से आपको बताते हैं कि ये जो तालाब चौक है, ये मस्जिद है और मस्जिद के पास में ही ये गली है और यहाँ से पत्थर लगातार आए। और ये जो चौक है, जो वीडियो में हमने आपको दिखाया अभी कैमरे में, इसी चौक से वो प्रोसेसन निकल रहा था। उसी दौरान भीड़ पर कहीं से पथराव आया, भीड़ पूरी तरह से डिस्पर्स हुई और उसके बाद भीड़ की तरफ से भी पथराव शुरू हुआ। लेकिन जो हिंसा शुरू हुई वो यहीं से शुरू हुई और उसके बाद तमाम हिंसक घटनाएं शहर के तमाम इलाकों से आना शुरू हो गई थी, क्योंकि पुलिस ने पहले तो कमांड कर लिया था सारी स्थिति को। लेकिन इसी तालाब चौक पर वो शोभा यात्रा निकल रही थी, जहां का ये वीडियो अब वायरल हो रहा है और ये सच्चाई बयां कर रहा है कि यहीं सबसे पहले किसी न किसी एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स ने हरकत की और उसके बाद इस तरह की तस्वीरें सामने आई कि पूरा शहर हिंसा की आग में जल उठा।
These are the visuals that we are getting you from Khargone, from the Dhar Gaon village. 60 kilometers from the site of violence. This is where those accused of violence had fled to, seeking to hide from the law. And when the police, because remember, first there is the rioting, and today morning when the police went to arrest them, this is what happened. And now we show you the enormity of what people inside had to face. People who were hiding inside their houses when the entire violence started. This wasn't about 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 people. There were at least 100 people out on the streets. This is next to the vicinity of a Gaushala, again in Khargone, where a huge mob is on the move. And you can see, again, the sites are familiar, the modus operandi is familiar, where a massive mob is on the move, and you see the stones being pelted at the Gaushala and the houses around it. When we talk about provocation, when we are told that there is a reaction to an action, when we talk about how there was bad body language by people who were part of a procession, what explains this kind of stone pelting that apparently is taking place unprovoked? Let me go across now to Govind Gujar, Times Now correspondent, who in fact for the last 1 week has been on the ground in Khargone. गोविंद, पहले ये बताइए, आपने जिन लोगों से बात की है जिनके घरों पर हमला किया गया, एक वीडियो जो आपने दिखाया था जहां पर एक गेट को तोड़ने की कोशिश की जा रही थी, क्या वो लोग सुरक्षित अपने को महसूस कर पा रहे हैं अभी?
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो ये जो 6 वेरीफाइड वीडियोस हैं वो हम चला रहे हैं। इसके अलावा मेरे पास एक फ्लड ऑफ सच वायलेंट वीडियोस, और हैरानी की बात यह सब वेरीफाइड वीडियोस हैं और हर वीडियो हिंसा से भरा हुआ है। और ये जो वीडियो हैं वो शहर के चारों तरफ से जो मेरे पास आए हुए हैं, जिन जिन लोगों से हम मिले हैं, ऐसे सैकड़ों वीडियो मेरे पास इस मोबाइल में अभी तक आ चुके हैं। मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूं कि इतने सारे वीडियोस को मैं कैसे डिस्क्राइब करूं। बड़ी हैरत की बात है और दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण ये जो घटना घटी है, जिसमें सबसे बड़ी समस्या ये है कि ये जो शहर है, क्योंकि अमूमन हम देखते हैं हर शहर में एक पुराना शहर होता है, 2 समुदाय रहते हैं, शांति से रहते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ 18-19 जगह ऐसी हैं जहां हिंदू मुस्लिम दोनों आजू बाजू साथ साथ रहते हैं। और यही वजह है कि पुलिस के लिए पसीने आ रहे हैं अभी स्थिति को सामान्य करने में। लेकिन जहां हम जा रहे हैं वहां हिंसा इतनी ज्यादा बरपी है और ये इत्तेफाक नहीं हो सकता है। सडनली घटी हुई घटना इसलिए नहीं हो सकती है, अगर ऐसा होता तो 1, 2, 3, 4 जगह होता, 40 जगह नहीं होता। ऐसी कई दर्जनों जगह हैं जहां हिंसा भड़की और अभी भी माहौल तनावपूर्ण है। एडिशनल एसपी से हमने बात की, उन्होंने अभी तक 34 एफआईआर दर्ज की है इस पूरे मामले को लेकर, जिसमें 28 एक समुदाय पर हैं और 6 दूसरे समुदाय पर, और 121 लोग अभी तक गिरफ्तार हो चुके हैं और पूरा मामला अभी भी जांच में है। बहुत सी चीजें ऐसी हैं इतनी सेंसिटिव है कि हम कैमरे पर बता नहीं सकते, बोल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि लॉ एंड ऑर्डर और शांति भी मेंटेन करने की हमें भी
सहयोग some second-hand social media information. These are videos that Govind has got, where you can see the accused clearly on camera. And he has gone out and he has spoken to the people that you see in these videos, and which is why, Govind, stay with me, because when we say that this wasn't spontaneous, we actually now get you testimonies that establish the conspiracy. Proof of the eyewitnesses, proof of the victims that talk about how this was a planned, well-executed conspiracy. Listen.
इस वक्त हम उस जगह पर खड़े हैं, ये जमींदार मोहल्ला है पीछे, और मेरे पीछे जमींदार मोहल्ला है और कैमरामैन के पीछे जो है वो खस बाड़ी मोहल्ला है। दो समुदाय के बीच का ये जो एरिया है, यहाँ 10 तारीख को जो बलवा मचा हुआ था, पत्थरबाजी जो हुई थी, देखिए आप पूरा जो सड़क है वो साफ कर दी गई है। ईंट और पत्थरों से किस कदर हमलेबाजी शुरू हुई थी यहाँ पर, वो वहां आप देख सकते हैं। गाड़ी जो है वो गाड़ी जला दी गई है। उस गाड़ी को आप देखिए। कैमरामैन से मैं कहूंगा कि आप आगे आके थोड़ा सा सारी चीजें हम लोग दिखा सके, बता सके। ये देखिए आप, ये गाड़ी यहाँ पर बाइक है, उसको आग के हवाले कर दिया गया। यहाँ पर आग लगाई गई और ये दरवाजे हैं जिनको पत्थरों से जिन पर हमला किया गया, दरवाजे तोड़े गए।
बहुत सारे आ गए थे, पत्थर चालू कर दिए उन्होंने, फाटक तोड़ दिया, अंदर घुसने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, ऊपर से भी पत्थर फेंके, बाटल फेंकी है, गाड़ी को आग के हवाले कर दिया है, पूरे घर को झुकना चाहते थे आग के हवाले।
दरवाजे टूटे हुए हैं ये, और देख सकते हैं आप ये कूलर अंदर बाहर था जो तोड़ दिया गया था, अंदर कर लिया है, दरवाजा लटका हुआ है। तो ये हमले की तमाम तस्वीरें सामने आई थी। तलवारें लहराई गई, बंदूकें लहराई गई और जो जिले के कप्तान हैं उन तक को गोली लगी हुई है। शिवम जो है बच्चा, जो जिसके ये परिजन, ये घर है जहां पर वो रहकर स्टडी कर रहा था, पढ़ाई कर रहा था, वो अस्पताल में जिंदगी और मौत के बीच झूल रहा है। वहां देखिए आप गोफन जैसा लगाया गया है। इनका कहना है कि वहां से पत्थरबाजी होती है, गुलेल, बड़ी गुलेल जिसे बोलेंगे।
ये गुलेल लगी हुई है, इधर कपड़ों से ढक दिया इन्होंने।
अच्छा।
और यहाँ से पत्थर आए हमारे ऊपर।
वो जो उससे ढक दिया गया है साड़ी से ऊपर वहां पीछे, तो वहां एक गोफन जैसा, जिसे बड़ी गुलेल बोलते हैं, वो लगा दिया गया था। हालांकि उन्होंने साड़ी से ढका हुआ है, ट्रांसपेरेंट वे में हम थोड़ा उसे देख पा रहे हैं। तो ये यहाँ पर रबड़ भी लगी हुई थी, इनका कहना है। ये ज्यादा बेहतर बता पाएंगे, आप बताइए क्या है ये सब।
ये गोफन है, उसमें अभी भी रबड़ लगी हुई है। वो आपको दिखने नहीं साड़ी ढके होने के कारण, लेकिन रबड़ अभी भी उसमें लगी हुई, गोफन कंप्लीट बनी हुई।
तो क्या पत्थर चलाते हैं उस तरह?
पत्थर उससे चलाते हैं।
अच्छा।
पत्थर उससे चले थे, हम तो बाहर ही नहीं निकल पाए उस कान से।
Absolutely shocking, these testimonies that are now coming out from Khargone. Gopal Krishna Aggarwal, spokesperson of BJP, is with us, along with Atul Pandey, political observer, Atiq Ur Rehman, Islamic scholar, Mita Chakraborti, political analyst. Atiq Ur Rehman, what explains this? This is a plan.
Yes, Padmaja, there cannot be any explanation to it, no excuses, no ifs and buts. If violence has taken place, which is seen on your videos, it is under no circumstances, and this is the reason I am asking today, why have we appointed and elected our governments? What are the administrations doing in these areas? Is this the reason Shivam today is suffering? And I appeal today through your channel.
Just out of curiosity, why do you think Shivam is suffering? Who is responsible for Shivam suffering?
Immediately, Shivam should be shifted to a multi-speciality hospital.
He already is in a multi-specialty hospital.
Yeah.
Answer my question.
Thank you so much.
Answer my question. Who exactly is responsible according to you for Shivam's pain?
I am responsible. I am responsible for it. I take the responsibility.
Okay.
And I, for this reason, elected my governments, but the governments are not functioning.
Right.
Why the governments are not functioning?
Government is not functioning because somebody has put up a catapult on their roof to pelt stones at people.
Why? But why? What, the police was sleeping?
Okay. Gopal Aggarwal, answer. If catapults are being put up on roofs, and this is truly chilling. I mean, you have a resident saying that they have a catapult, and this is exactly why this is chilling, is because this is like a photocopy of what happened in the Delhi riots. I remember myself seeing how catapults were put up on roofs, and now it's happening in Khargone. Atiq Ur Rehman says, Gopal Aggarwal, were you sleeping?
The thing is, Padmaja, we have to understand the ecosystem. I have been talking about the ecosystem which promotes these things. The ecosystem of Atiq Ur Rehman, the ecosystem of those like Congress and other opposition parties.
My job is
they create a narration. When you take action, everything the government, no, you have to listen to me. You say everything the government has to do. When the government takes action, why you are you are using bulldozer? Why you are not taking action? If the government is taking action, they say they come out in procession. They say silent march, candle march. All this ecosystem is hurting India's secularism thread. Everything is seen from the eyes of a communal eyes. Everything is seen from the communal eyes. You talk our government as intolerant. You talk about our government as communal. You don't allow the action to be taken by the police. They are human. They have to be understood.
So
they have to be understood. What is the ecosystem you provide to them? How can this happen?
Okay.
How these things are happened? It's an organized crime.
Organized crime. Organized planned crime, Mita Chakraborti. I am getting frankly a little tired now of just putting out the sheer evidence. There have been at least 12 videos that we ourselves have put out. We have held back 24 because they are extremely inflammatory and problematic. Will you at least now concede this was a planned conspiracy?
Okay, firstly, I would request all my co-panelists and yourself not to interrupt when I'm talking. I'll take limited time, but no interruptions, please. I have a few very basic queries to ask. This videos that you have put up, I'm glad that they are verified content. They're very problematic. They're very disturbing. And whoever is responsible, does not matter whether it's a Hindu or whether it's a Muslim, whoever is responsible for violence needs to be convicted as per the law of land, period. It does not matter which community the person belongs to.
But that is not my question.
However,
my question is, will you agree this was a pre-planned conspiracy?
I have a few queries to ask.
Was there a pre-planned conspiracy? Yes or no?
Even if it's a pre-planned conspiracy, the state is responsible. The state government is responsible for maintaining law and order
conspiracy. Yes or no?
Our secular government is one government that is supposed to be equidistant from all religious
We are not here. We are not here having a highfalutin debate about the Constitution.
You need to allow me to
because you're not answering my question. You are going off on a tangent. I am asking you, is it a conspiracy? You are telling me this is, condemnable. Obviously, it's condemnable.
The government, which is responsible for law and order,
is it a pre-planned conspiracy?
To investigate.
Is it a pre-planned conspiracy? I am asking your opinion. Government will.
How do I know? Do I have an investigating agency at my disposal?
Well, ma'am, you have an opinion about everything. How come you don't have an opinion about this?
I do have an opinion about.
So then tell me about your opinion. Is this a conspiracy? Yes or no?
Time.
Is this a conspiracy?
A government needs to act with more responsibility.
Is this a conspiracy?
Is responsible for this kind of a situation.
Is this a conspiracy,
if they are failing to maintain law and order in their state, I'm sorry. As a person, as an onlooker, I have an opinion on that.
And if do you have an opinion about who is the conspirator?
By all means,
do you have an opinion on who is the conspirator? Do you have an opinion on who's the conspirator?
Whoever is responsible for this violence needs to be convicted.
Nobody waited for whoever when it came about instigation. Then it was very clear that people in the procession were the instigators.
The problem
that time nobody said, whoever is the instigator, let's condemn the violence. Then you said, these people went in and they provoked. Now why don't we have a problem?
Actual issues of unemployment, actual issues of development.
Take a stand,
we
madam.
just want to discuss communal disharmony.
Oh, now you want to discuss unemployment, is it? When people were giving certificates about who is the instigator, then unemployment wasn't a problem.
Shame on the government of the day.
Ma'am, you can
kind of environment.
Shame. Okay, fine. Shame on the government. I hold no brief for the government.
You cannot run away from
them be shamed. Let them be shamed. I have no brief for them. My question to you is, what in your educated opinion is this? Is this a pre-planned conspiracy? Yes or no?
Yes, it looks like a pre-planned conspiracy.
Great.
So by all
finally,
means,
after
please
20 minutes, now tell me who is the conspirator?
How do I know? Again, I'm saying
if you're saying it's a conspiracy, then you know who's the conspirator.
You are asking things. You're showing me a few video content, and then you're asking me, tell me who is the conspirator.
Yes.
I am not going to fall in that trap, Padmaja.
Well,
all I'm saying is that
in that case, when a video came to you on social media, and actually when a video came to Mr. Rahul Gandhi on social media, then on what basis did he say that BJP's bulldozer is a bulldozer of hate? Did he investigate? Did he have an SIT? Does he have a forensics department? Did he go and find out whether the bulldozer is of hate or it is of enforcement?
It's an absolute utter failure in the part of Madhya Pradesh government. Shame on them. They cannot run away from their responsibility.
Madam, Rajasthan, what is their failure? It is against the not the failure
again,
of the...
Again, the same logic applies, sir. If incident of violence has taken place in Rajasthan, it is the failure of the state government there as well.
It is the same logic. Okay, we agree it's the same logic. Now we talk about the ecosystem of cover to these, under the you want others to fall into your trap of false secularism, false minority.
There is no false secularism, sir. The government is supposed to be executed.
You have been creating an ecosystem.
Religious communities,
You
that
have
is
been
the
creating
basic
this
ethos of secularism.
The provocation, minorities
Pandey.
are provoked. By the minorities are being provoked. Minorities
there is no
being
such
hurt.
thing, because
The
if the
government
minorities
is
have done
intolerant.
provocation by
The
all
government
so
is
after that.
So it's too early to figure out who's the conspirator. Atul Pandey.
If this zoo becomes a bit silent, I'll buy the point of Atiq and I'll buy the point of Madam High Decibel. The government is responsible. The first time that radical Islamists chased the cops and beat them up, I think the government should have acted at that point of time. We have just provided too long a rope to anyone and everyone who breaks the law, who believes that harming the state and the administration of the state is just a casual thing to do. Radical Islamists have been at war with India since 2019 in a very, very straight way. NTCA protests, which were disguised protests, it started from there. The second phase of UP elections, when the hijab controversy was brought up, and the results are out for everyone to see. The first phase, Samajwadi Party was totally routed. Second phase, just on the basis of the hijab controversy, they found some ground in UP. These people have been at war with India. Let's have no doubt about it.
Radicals are at war, Atiq Ur Rehman.
So the fruits of the radicalized war is to the BJP. They are winning the elections out of it. They are getting all the benefit out of it. That's the whole point. In the name of
why are you helping them do it then? Why are you helping them do it then? You have created a situation where 20% of the population of the country, 20% of the population of the country has been totally radicalized by you. They believe that BJP has done well, but they will not vote for BJP because of people like you. Mr. Atiq, you get a lot of time on air. Please, let me make a point.
I think all the points of view are in front of you, and more importantly, evidence, video evidence is in front of you. You, the viewer, is always the wisest to decide whether this was a conspiracy and who is behind it. I'm going to have to end it at that. Thank you very much, all gentlemen, Mita Chakraborti, for joining me. Taking a very quick break. On the other side, we get you another very, very big story. Don't go anywhere.